What if I told you that the most breathtaking, jaw-dropping gown you have ever laid eyes on wasn't born in a pristine, white-gloved luxury atelier, but was actually salvaged from a bin of forgotten scraps? Imagine a world where the things we throw away, the old curtains, the tattered t-shirts, the vintage lace that's seen better days, become the ultimate symbols of high fashion. It sounds wild, right? But that is exactly the journey we are going on today. We are channeling the rebellious, unapologetic spirit of the late, great Vivienne Westwood to prove that true artistry isn't about how much money you spend on new materials, but about the visionary hands that transform the old into absolute masterpieces. I remember the first time I really understood this concept. I was staring at this incredible archival Westwood piece, and at first glance, it just looked like pure royalty. It had this structured, corseted bodice that snatched the waist in that signature way she does, and a skirt that cascaded like a waterfall. But then I leaned in closer. I really looked at the fabric. And I realized that this wasn't some custom-woven silk from a factory in Italy. It was a patchwork. It was a collision of history. There were bits of oversized tartan that looked like they came from a punk rocker's garage sale, stitched right next to delicate, tea-stained 18th century style lining. It was rough, it was raw, and yet, it was the most elegant thing I had ever seen. That moment completely changed how I look at my own closet. See, Vivienne didn't just design clothes, she dismantled the entire system. Think back to the 1970s, at 430 Kings Road. While everyone else was trying to look polished and perfect, she was there with Malcolm McLaren, literally ripping things apart to put them back together. She took the establishment's rules and shredded them. She saw a safety pin, something we use to fix a diaper or hold a hem, and she said, "No, that is jewelry. That is decoration." She took the idea of rags and forced the world to see them as riches. And honestly, isn't that the most empowering thing you've ever heard? It's this idea that you don't need permission or a massive budget to be stylish. You just need an eye for the story behind the fabric. I love imagining the process of creating one of these upcycled couture pieces. Picture it with me. You're standing in a studio surrounded by mounds of discarded textiles. To the untrained eye, it looks like a mess. But to a designer with that Westwood spark, it's a goldmine. You pull out a heavy velvet drape that someone threw out because it had a fade mark. You grab a stack of graphic tees from the 90s. And then you start draping. You're not following a cookie-cutter pattern. You're listening to the fabric. Maybe that velvet wants to be a structured lapel. Maybe those t-shirts get sliced into ribbons and woven into a new kind of tweed. It's chaotic, sure, but it's a beautiful chaos. It's tactile and sensory. You can almost feel the prick of the pins and the snip of the scissors just thinking about it. And let's talk about the silhouette for a second, because that is where the magic really happens. You know that feeling when you put on a dress that just fits? Like, it doesn't just sit on you, it holds you. That is the genius of her construction. By using these heavier, pre-loved fabrics, you often get a structure that flimsy modern synthetics just can't mimic. When you wear an upcycled piece like this, you feel the weight of it. It's grounding. It feels like armor. I remember slipping into a recreated piece that used recycled denim and old suiting wool. I expected it to feel stiff, but instead, it felt like a hug. It moved with me. The bodice lifted me up, and the skirt swished with this heavy, satisfying sound every time I took a step. I felt like a warrior queen walking through the city streets. We have to talk about the why behind this, too. Why does this matter so much right now? We live in this era of ultra-fast fashion where we buy a dress, wear it once for a photo, and toss it. It's exhausting, isn't it? Channeling this rags to runway energy is the antidote to that. It's sustainable, yes, but it's also deeply personal. When you wear something made from upcycled materials, no one else on the planet has that same dress. It is scientifically impossible for them to look like you. You are wearing a one-of-one art piece. You are wearing a story. I think about that famous pirate collection, or the Buffalo Girls, or the way she would take historical cuts, like those big 17th century court dresses, and make them out of laser-cut jersey, or distressed cotton. It was her way of saying that history belongs to us, and we can remix it however we want. She taught us that mistakes are actually just design opportunities. Did you cut the hem too short? Great, now it's asymmetrical. Did the fabric tear? Fantastic, patch it with a contrasting color and make it a focal point. It's so freeing to think that way. So, here is what I want you to do. The next time you are about to throw out an old dress, or a shirt that doesn't fit right, stop. Look at it. Could it be a sleeve on a new jacket? Could it be the ruffle on a skirt? Could you pin it, tuck it, and drape it into something that looks like it walked right off a Paris runway? Because if Vivienne taught us anything, it's that luxury is a state of mind, not a price tag. It's about attitude. It's about walking into a room wearing something that looks like it survived a storm and owning it completely. I am so obsessed with this style of DIY couture, and I really think it's the future of fashion. We are taking the waste of the world and spinning it into gold, just like a fairy tale. But tell me, do you have any pieces in your wardrobe that you've modified or saved from the trash? Or are you tempted to try your hand at some Westwood-style deconstruction after hearing this? I want to hear all about your DIY wins and fails in the comments below, because we are all in this creative mess together. And seriously, if you love diving into this history with me, hit that like button so I know to bring you more fashion stories like this. Go create something beautiful today.